People pour money into detox teas, liver cleanses, and mystery pills, and then skip the one evidence-based, boring-sounding nutrient pattern that actually helps your liver do its real job. That was my grandfather. He had a habit of trying the latest cleanse, and he was convinced that a week of powder and lemon water could erase years of everyday choices. Meanwhile, he avoided the everyday foods that quietly feed your liver's own machinery. When we fixed that mistake, with medical guidance and small, trackable changes, his labs and energy didn't just drift, they moved. This video is about that pivot and the vitamin-like nutrient most people overlook. Here's my promise to you. I'll explain everything in simple language, using research you can verify. This is educational content. It does not replace personal medical care. Talk to your clinician before starting or stopping any supplement. Let's start with what's hiding in plain sight. You've heard about B complex, C, D, and E. But the liver's daily logistics, packaging fat, shipping it out, keeping cell membranes healthy, lean heavily on something that sounds too dull to go viral: choline. Think of your liver like a bustling post office. All day, it has to box up fat into neat packages, called VLDL particles, so it doesn't pile up in the back room. Choline is a key part of the packing tape. It's needed to make phosphatidylcholine, which helps assemble those packages and the membranes that hold them together. When choline runs low, fat can get stuck. According to the NIH Office of Dietary Supplements, controlled feeding studies show that inadequate choline in adults can lead to liver enzyme elevations and fat accumulation. Restoring choline restabilizes those markers in many cases. University groups, including teams led from North Carolina, have published for years on this connection, showing that low choline intake is linked to fatty liver changes in adults, with certain genetic variants and life stages, like postmenopause, making people even more susceptible. That's exactly where my grandfather's turnaround began. He didn't need an exotic powder. He needed to stop fearing the breakfast foods that actually carry choline. We reviewed his week with a pencil. How many egg yolks? Almost none. Fish or lean meats? Rare. Soy or beans? Sometimes. Alcohol units? More than he thought. We didn't chase a miracle cleanse. We rebuilt the basics his liver uses all day anyway. Within a month of swapping in choline-rich meals, walking after dinner, and tightening his alcohol window, his post office ran smoother, and his follow-up lab conversation with his doctor was finally about a trend we liked. What is choline in real-life terms? It's a vitamin-like essential nutrient. Your body makes a little, but not enough, so diet matters. Why does it matter? Because your liver relies on it to keep fat flowing out, not piling up. Evidence? The NIH's fact sheet summarizes human trials where choline deficiency caused fatty liver and muscle damage in adults. When choline was reintroduced, those problems improved. Major clinics like Cleveland Clinic and Harvard Health also highlight choline as part of liver-friendly eating patterns, especially in people at higher risk of deficiency. What should you watch for this week? Skim your food log for eggs, yolks included, fish, lean meats or poultry, and soy products like tofu or soy milk, the most reliable choline sources. If you're vegetarian or vegan, it's absolutely doable, but you need to be intentional. Tofu, edamame, soy milk, quinoa, beans, and certain nuts help, and some plant milks are fortified. Who's more likely to underconsume? People who avoid eggs and fish, people with higher needs due to genetics, and postmenopausal individuals, because estrogen normally helps your body make phosphatidylcholine. When estrogen drops, your diet has to carry more of the load. A common mistake is fearing egg yolks purely because of cholesterol headlines from the 90s. For most people, eggs in a balanced diet are compatible with healthy lipids. The bigger picture is your overall pattern. Another mistake is replacing whole foods with generic liver cleanse dust. If the dust doesn't fix the packing tape, fat still piles up in the back room. Now, if you've heard about vitamin E and fatty liver, you're not imagining it. There is a place, but it's narrower than social media implies. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant. In a specific group of adults with biopsy-confirmed non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, NASH, and without diabetes, high-dose natural alpha-tocopherol has shown histologic improvements in a landmark clinical trial. That study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and subsequent guidance from liver societies, suggests vitamin E can help selected non-diabetic patients with NASH improve liver cell injury and inflammation. That sounds exciting, and for the right patient, under supervision, it can be. But here's the guardrail. This is not a one-size-fits-all pill. High doses of vitamin E can increase bleeding risk, may interact with blood thinners, and have raised questions about prostate cancer risk in some data sets when used at certain doses in men. Reputable groups, including the American Association for the Study of Liver Diseases, frame vitamin E as a potential option for carefully chosen adults with documented NASH, often at 800 international units per day, after a real diagnostic workup and a conversation about benefits versus risks. They do not recommend that every person with fatty liver or elevated enzymes run to the supplement aisle and megadose. My grandfather, he wasn't in the biopsy-proven NASH, non-diabetic category, so the plan wasn't grab a bottle and hope. His doctor focused on confirmed deficiencies and lifestyle upgrades first, and left room to revisit E only if his evaluation supported it. So where might vitamin E fit? It may help when your clinician confirms a diagnosis like NASH and you meet the criteria, especially if you're not diabetic and you've already addressed diet, activity, and alcohol in a sustained way. What do you watch for? Never self-prescribe high doses. Disclose all your medications and supplements. Ask your doctor to walk you through your actual diagnosis. Is it simple steatosis, metabolic-associated steatotic liver disease, or NASH? And discuss the dose, form, duration, and follow-up labs. A common mistake is treating vitamin E like a universal liver tonic or taking multiple antioxidant pills together with no plan. Antioxidants aren't the more the better. With fat-soluble ones, more can sometimes be worse. If you're picturing your liver as that post office, vitamin E is more like surge protection for the wiring during a storm, potentially useful when the storm is real and documented, not a justification to ignore the boxes piling up. There's another piece people often forget: vitamin D status, plus the methyl donor network that includes folate and B12. Vitamin D deficiency is common worldwide and frequently travels with metabolic issues. Several hospital and university studies suggest that when a true deficiency is corrected, some people see improvements in liver enzyme trends or metabolic markers. Others show neutral results. That's the state of the evidence. Promising signals, mixed outcomes. It makes sense biologically. Vitamin D participates in immune and metabolic regulation, but clinical effects are not a guarantee. The practical takeaway isn't megadose D, it's test, then correct an actual deficiency under guidance, because too much vitamin D raises calcium and can harm kidneys. As for methyl donors like folate and B12, they feed the same biochemical roads that handle choline and phosphatidylcholine. If those roads are starved, traffic jams build. University research has shown that low folate can worsen fat accumulation and that certain genetic patterns increase your reliance on dietary choline and folate to keep liver fat moving. Again, the point isn't to swallow handfuls of pills. It's to make sure your diet provides these nutrients and that you treat any lab-proven deficiency with your clinician's plan. So what does the vitamin most people ignore look like in your kitchen tomorrow morning? For my grandfather, it was as simple as 2 eggs sautéed with spinach and peppers, a scoop of beans at lunch, and fish 2 nights a week. On days he wanted to go plant-forward, we leaned on tofu stir-fry, edamame snacks, and fortified soy milk in his oatmeal. Notice the pattern. We didn't ban favorite foods. We nudged protein sources toward choline-rich choices, and we built a small habit stack around meals, 10 to 15 minutes of walking after each main meal, According to major medical centers like Mayo Clinic and Harvard Health, short post-meal walks help control after-meal glucose and support metabolic health, a friend to your liver. We also audited alcohol. Many people underestimate just a little on weeknights. The liver does not. Standard drinks add up quickly. By counting actual units on paper, my grandfather saw what his lab already knew. He wasn't forced to quit forever. He set boundaries he could live with and stuck to them. Let's make this actionable in 3 clear moves. First, track for 7 days. Write it down, not on an app you'll forget, but on your fridge. Protein sources at each meal, egg yolk frequency, fish or tofu count, total alcohol units, bedtime, and how you feel each morning. Add a quick waist measure at the navel twice a week and note any right upper quadrant discomfort, bloating, or unusual fatigue. The act of measuring changes behavior, and it gives your clinician something concrete. Second, make one change today. If breakfast is usually toast and coffee, try a choline-friendly plate, 2 eggs with veggies, or tofu scramble, or Greek yogurt with soy milk and nuts. Add a 10-minute walk after your main meal. If alcohol creeps into most nights, commit to 2 weeknights off and a strict unit cap on the weekend. Third, bring data to your clinician. Ask 3 specific questions. How's my choline intake looking based on this food log? Should we check my vitamin D, folate, and B12? And, given my imaging and labs, is vitamin E relevant for me or not? That last question shows you've done your homework and invites a nuanced answer rather than a reflexive supplement script. You might be wondering, why not just use a choline pill and skip the eggs, fish, or tofu? There are choline supplements, such as choline bitartrate or phosphatidylcholine, and your clinician may suggest them if diet alone isn't meeting needs, especially in pregnancy or in special cases. But whole foods bring more than choline: protein, omega-3s, micronutrients, and satiety. They help you stick with the plan long enough to matter. There's also cost. Replacing dinner with capsules gets expensive and doesn't guarantee balance elsewhere. Food first with medically guided supplementation wins most of the time. What about liver cleanses? The liver already cleans itself. That is its job. According to major health organizations, there is no credible evidence that 7-day detox kits remove meaningful amounts of toxins or reverse fatty liver. Many cleanses are low in protein and devoid of choline, which is the opposite of what your liver needs to package fat and carry on. If a protocol tells you to starve your liver of its packing tape while selling you a different tape, it's marketing, not physiology. Here are some quiet signals that your weekly choices are helping, the kind my grandfather and his doctor watched. Do meals leave you satisfied for 3 to 4 hours because you've added protein instead of just starch? Do you crave fewer nighttime snacks after an evening walk? Are you skipping fewer planned walks because they're short and attached to meals? Do you feel a little more energy in the afternoon? Subjective, yes. But when you pair those with objective next visit improvements in waist, triglycerides, HDL, and liver enzymes, you're building a case. And if something isn't moving, that's a signal too. It's your cue to adjust sooner rather than later. Let's revisit our 3 silent allies in one breath. Choline is the everyday enabler. It helps your liver package and export fat, and most people shortchange it without realizing, especially if they cut out eggs and fish. Vitamin E can be helpful in a specific, doctor-defined slice of patients with biopsy-proven NASH and no diabetes. It's not a universal fix, and it carries risks at high doses. Vitamin D and the methyl donor network matter when you're deficient. Correcting true deficits may support better metabolic and liver chemistry, but the effects are inconsistent, so test before you treat and avoid megadosing. If you remember nothing else, build meals that deliver choline, correct real deficiencies, and only consider targeted supplements with your clinician's footprint on the plan. If this reminds you of someone you love, maybe a parent or grandparent clinging to the idea of a quick cleanse, share this with them. Let's normalize the boring choices that quietly move the needle. In the comments, Tell me which breakfast swap you'll try this week, or if you want a walkthrough of choline-rich options for vegetarians and for people who don't love eggs. If you're 50 plus or care for someone who is, hit subscribe. Next up, we'll break down simple breakfasts that support your liver and how to read ALT/AST without freaking out. And because it matters, use this information as a compass, not a prescription. Don't start or stop any medication or supplement, including vitamin E, D, folate, B12, or choline products, without discussing your specific situation with your healthcare professional.